Hey guys, welcome back to the Hillside. If you're new here, I'm Salisha and this is Hillside Homesteading. Today I'm going to take you on a little farm tour to show you how all the vegetables, fruit trees, and everything is coming along so far. Today is our official first day of spring, but the video you're about to see was recorded about a week or so ago, so it's a little behind the actual garden right now currently. But I thought it would be a good idea to start recording weekly updates on the garden to show you guys the progress of how everything's going. Here we have blueberries, and I can see some blueberries on here. And I just framed the stairs with these two blueberries. This one here was overgrown with weeds. I took out half of them, and the plant is trying to bounce back, but we had tons of weeds trying to take over. This one had a huge sumac growing in it, and I had to take it all out and remove it all, but now it's actually bouncing back and we have berries on there. Let's head down the stairs and see how the fruit trees are doing in the orchard. Right here you can see the mulberry bushes. I call them trees because they are trees at this point. Fully loaded with mulberries. Let's get a close-up here for you to see. And we have mulberry trees scattered pretty much all over the property here. We have this one here, that one right there. We have one right beside the stairs. And all of these little trees you see, most of them are mulberries here. But we do have some fruit trees planted. We've had a lot of warm weather the past week or so. Today actually is not as warm. I feel like we might get some rain, but then again it might pass by. It does that a lot here where it looks like it's gonna rain and then it doesn't. So we'll see. But for now, let's take a tour of the entire garden and I'll show you guys what I've been up to. We got through a really bad dry spell. We haven't had rain for probably 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden this week we're getting tons of rain. So it's just been really wet here the past little while. I was supposed to actually spray the fruit trees today, but it's so wet and it's raining, so I definitely don't want to spray the fruit trees in the rain. Let's take a look at how the fruit trees are doing. This is year 3 on the new homestead, so let's see how they're doing. Alright, so I'm in the orchard. We did try to weed whack a little bit. It's hard to keep up with it though because the grass grows like crazy when the rain starts. But we did get down a lot of it. This fruit tree is absolutely loaded with apples. We do have a bug damage on some of them though, but I am going to come out here and spray them with some horticultural oil and some neem oil. I'm going to mix it together, but the trees are absolutely loaded with fruit. This is the best they've done in the 3 years. Past couple years we got a couple of fruits on them, but nothing major. But this year they have a lot of fruit on them, so we're extremely happy to see all of the fruit trees thriving. And it's a self-pollinating, so we didn't have to have 2 apples here in order to get fruit. So just make sure whenever you're planting fruit trees, be sure that you're getting self-pollinating, or if you're not, if you need another pollinator, make sure you get another fruit tree that's capable of pollinating. Here is the lost fruit of North America, the Paw Paw. It's not a Popeye, it is a Paw Paw. It's basically like a tropical fruit that's native to North America. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes already. And these Paw Paws are absolutely doing so well. They're thriving. This is the 2nd year that they're on the property. We bought them when they were just tiny little guys. And we have 2 of them. We did have 3, but the second one got eaten by the goats one day when they escaped. So we have 2 Paw Paws. On the other side of the garden, we also have more Paw Paws. And like I said, the property is absolutely littered in mulberries, so these are all mulberries as well. Here I have a peach tree, and on this peach you can also see that it is quite loaded with fruit. Let me get in here and I'll show you. So you can see, look at these peaches here. More peaches in here. More peaches up here. And a couple years ago I gave these guys a hard prune. I pruned them way back. I cut down all of the middle branches, and the branch that was shooting way up, I cut that off. And then it got really nice and bushy. You can see just how bushy this peach tree is now. And it is absolutely thriving here. The only thing I have to do is spray them for pests. But other than that, I mean, look at these peaches. It feels so fuzzy and it's really doing so well. And it is raining a little bit right now, but I wanted to get out here and give you guys this tour. So let's head on over to the other side of the orchard now. I grew some of my tomatoes here last year. This is a Honeycrisp apple. So this is another apple, but it didn't really do much this year compared to the other apple and the peach. So it's taking its sweet time. By the end of fall, I'm gonna give this another hard prune to cut it back, to keep it short, and to get it to branch out some more. On the far side of my orchard, which hasn't been weed whacked yet, we have the bigger Paw Paw trees, and we have about 4 of those. They are growing like crazy. Even this one here, it's about 5 feet tall almost. So these Paw Paws, I'm expecting fruit from them any day now. Hopefully next year we'll be able to get some fruit off these guys. But that'll be, I think, the 3rd year. So that should be enough time, I'm hoping, to get some fruit off these really rare, elusive fruit. In the next video, I'll be taking you on a tour and talking to you about goats and what's been going on with our girls and the boy the past couple months. They're looking so cute because they're all very pregnant. Here is my in-ground garden that I started a few days ago. Here's some broccoli. This is a row of broccoli here. I also have some eggplants and some cabbage. So these are April green cabbage, purple peacock broccoli, and Listata de Gandia eggplants, and they're all planted in here together. In no time this will start springing up and we'll see some amazing vegetables growing out of this small little area. And I did have to cover some of it up with that tarp because something's been eating all of my corn, and you can see they're sprouting up, but something's been really eating them, and I'm really getting worried because none of them are making it past this point. So I'm gonna have to think of either caging this in with some chicken wire to keep them out of my corn patch, because all of my little corn starts and little sprouts right now are getting eaten, and I just can't have that. The only fruit tree that made it during the move, when we moved in 2020 to our new homestead from our old homestead, was this pear tree here, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even put out flowers. But what I'm gonna do in the fall is give this a hard prune back. So I'm gonna cut it probably around here and take off all of this extra growth up here that's not doing anything. So I'm just gonna cut this back, prune it, prune off all of these extra dead branches, all of the branches that are growing inwards. Give this a hard prune, and then hopefully next year we can see some flowers on this pear, because it is doing okay. It just, I think it needs a hard prune, and that'll send it into fruit. We had 2 massive cherries, sweet, beautiful cherries, but they just didn't make it during the move in 2020. This is where I planted all of my sunflowers, and you can see I have about 4 or 5 giant sunflowers here. I don't know what happened to the rest of them because I planted probably about 12 of them, and I only see 5 that have made it here. But what I am going to do here is plant some flowers today. This is where we had wood chips delivered to us from the city. When they cut down the trees in the ditch by our house, we told them to actually leave some wood chips here for us, and we scooped it all out, but there's always some remaining. And in this area, it's actually like really good soil because the wood chips have been breaking down over the past, oh, here's one, over the past few years. So there's a lot. So the soil here, you can see something ate one of them down, because there's another here as well. Something ate this one down or broke it down, and there's another one that got broken down. So we have a lot of animals here that just love our garden. No matter what we do, they just come in and destroy. So garden protection is also key. I'm gonna come out here and finish planting some flowers that I have for the front yard, because this is near my driveway here. And I just like this area because it gets lots of sun and it's perfect for a little flower patch. And this is what it looks like once the flowers are planted with the sunflowers. On this side, I have 3 containers full of raspberries. I haven't figured out my permanent spot for my raspberries yet, so I'm just keeping them in these containers. I will transplant them in bigger containers at the end of the season, but not right now. So I have a couple containers full of onions and some cabbages here. I'm getting some bug pressure here. I do have some cloth that goes over this. So they're just fruit protecting bags, and I can put over these to protect them from pests. Lately, I'm trying to make a point of actually enjoying my homestead, enjoying all of the hard work and dedication that I've put into growing my garden and getting the homestead to look the way it does. And you can simply do that by adding some seating areas like benches or chairs in some of the more beautiful, calming areas of your homestead, because one of the main things you want to do is simply enjoy the homestead. Okay, that's enough resting. Let's get back to the garden tour. This is my beautiful catnip. It just looks so gorgeous. The pollinators absolutely love it. Here's where I intercropped some beets, garlic, and some turnips. The garlic will get pulled out first, and once those get pulled out, the rest of everything else will have time to grow and develop. But I just love how pretty it looks, honestly. All of these greens are edible as well, but it's so pretty in this container. Like, I just love that look. Let's head into the greenhouse to see how everything's doing in here. So back here we have the turnips, and that is filling out so much. This pepper plant right here is a 2-year-old pepper. You got peppers growing on this 2-year-old pepper that I overwintered last year and put it out this year, and it's doing really well, and we have so much new growth and peppers on there. I have some sweet potatoes growing in this container as well as in that container. These are some mulberries that I'm cloning, and I can tell they've taken because they've started to perk up now. More sweet potatoes, lemon with quite a few lemons on it, and a nice ripe lemon right here as well. I'm gonna have to prune this lemon back because it keeps growing wide and I want it to grow up instead of sideways, but we have quite a few lemons on there. Here is a Hungarian wax pepper, and we can see peppers are all forming on here. And if you live anywhere zone 654, do not prune off the tops of your peppers, as some people say, because we just don't have a long enough growing season for that. So just keep the peppers as they are so that you can harvest whatever you can in our short growing season. Here is my tomatoes in the grow bag that I showed you guys before. They're doing so well. Look at how beautiful they're filled out. They've grown so much. And what I'm going to do is actually trellis these all the way up to the top of my greenhouse up here. And I'm gonna tie like 4 or 5 string, bring it down to the tomatoes and then tie them off so that they have something to run on. But I will be reorganizing the greenhouse before I do that so that the tomatoes are tucked in more to the back of the greenhouse. In these 2 containers here we have potatoes. These were really overgrown, overspent, oversprouted potatoes. They were tiny little organic potatoes that I had from the store. And so long as they're organic, you can grow the potatoes. Especially if they start putting out the little eyes, you can grow them. Just stick them in some soil and give them water and a little bit of fertilizer or some manure, and they will grow for you. And lo and behold, they are growing just as if these were seed potatoes. They are so healthy, looking really good, and they're getting a little bit older now. I mean, it won't be too much longer before these guys are ready for me to harvest them. And then on this side is my super rare exotic Caribbean peppers, and you can see I have tons of peppers on here growing now. They're doing so well despite the weather cooling down on us significantly this week. We got, with the rain, came some really cool temperatures, but the peppers don't seem to mind, especially because I have them in the greenhouse. Now guys, if I had these peppers out in the garden, there's absolutely no way they would be holding on to their babies, their little fruit, their little peppers here. With the cold, we've gotten down to like 9 degrees, and these peppers definitely don't like that. So I'm so happy I have them in the grow bags in the greenhouse, because that just saves me so much time having to try and protect these guys from the cold, because it stays so nice and warm in here. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this tour. The garden does look a little different than what I showed you because it's been about a week or so, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can come back and see what we're doing here at Hillside Homesteading. I'll see you in the next one. Stay peaceful. Come on up. Come on.